Chapter 2 of Awaken the Immortal Within. This chapter is entitled Foundational Knowledge. You will become a rogue spirit, adrift in a sea of humanity with coordinates to islands others cannot see, a vagabond of another vintage. You shall cope with the truth, though you may not believe it, not at first. By the act of looking, you shall perceive invisible cords that pull and oppress others, forces that now shun you, that regard you as an aberrant malfunction in a system of controlled chaos. Infected with curiosity, they will treat you as diseased. The bonds that earlier bound you will be severed to contain this contagion. Holospheric self-preservation. It passes poisons off as remedies, the healthy, few in number. You shall become a medicine man with antidotes in the dark, carrying a torch, bearing sacred fire lit by another. In the shadows of this flickering light, our enemies encircled. They rage against revelations, conspirators striving to darken the illumined. In searching, your gaze will reflect back upon yourself, and a truth will be unveiled, a new scion to what lies hidden in the human race. The living emerge only after the egg is cracked, the womb torn. You will remember the future as you see clearly the past. Unto you, the reader, are secrets rendered, obscurities unobstructed. There is truth in what is written. To him who hath, more will be given. From opposing vantage points, lucidity and lunacy are one. The visionary knowing the holosphere for what it is, while the vision afflicted knows that things are wrong, but knows not why. The inheritance of knowledge is danger. Let the timid flee. Even immortals fear what a man can know. Every person alive today exists within a prison realm designed to deceive them that they are free, when they are not. Yes, our world is beautiful. It has to be. There is deceit in the design. We are more than we suppose ourselves to be, able to break free of this programming and accomplish incredible things. I am 44 years old at the time of this writing, having walked through this clever dungeon for the first 40 years of my life, a pawn in another's game. But at 40 years old, I emerged with a torch burning sacred fire, a secret. In this book, I will lead you through a similar darkness, and when we emerge at the end, you'll find your own torch lit with a similar flame. Beware, ere I lead you to the light, I'll have to drag you through the mire. Oliver Wendell Holmes said that when the human mind is stretched by a new idea, it can never go back to its original dimensions. This is the value of learning, of absorbing new information from diverse sources. Public education saps the initiative, waters down what needs to be highlighted. It levels the plateau of intellectual development while striving to make equals of everyone. A control mechanism no different than organized religion. Both serve the same purpose. Our secular selves are taught that all mysteries are solved and that we are in control. Our spiritual selves are quarantined with antiquated systems of thought, made acceptable because the dictates were the words of a god. Both conceal the truth. We are not in control in the collective, and our predicament is not the work of any deity. If the God of Judeo-Christianity truly wrote the Bible, and made the world what it is today, then any rational individual, having reviewed the evidence, will rightly determine that God is an enemy of mankind. And this, written by myself, comes from a man who spent the first 40 years of his life as a stringent, washed in the blood Southern Baptist. Born again, twice baptized, I have read the entire Bible through over 50 times in my life and have the notes to prove it. Learning forces us to undergo an intellectual transformation, and this is what makes the student open to all types of knowledge, quite dangerous to the establishment. Our thoughts lay the foundations to future conditions. Knowledge acquired changes us in subtle ways. We are told, warned actually, by great mentalists long ago, that a little learning is a dangerous thing. The more I distance myself from the core programming that had ensnared me most of my life, the more I appreciate this statement. Now, with long experimentation, imagination, discovery, and implementation of various systems of thought, I can clearly see by virtue of retrospect that all of my life I experienced only those major events that I set in motion. My life had not been measured from destination to destination, by periods of peace or discord, stability or chaos, stagnation or accomplishment. No, these are merely aspects of my space-time passage. My life has been measured by conscious decisions, the milestones of my existence being the exercise of discretion to either believe or disbelieve. Over the years, I have maintained meticulous records detailing the events of my life, which enabled me to see a definitive pattern between my attitude and my experiences. It is axiomatic that one's attitude is but a personality's outward manifestation of the condition of the mind. This being so, and demonstrated many times in my life, then I must conclude that I have never suffered anything other than what I expected to endure. My expectations of projection mentally reflected back to me as circumstances. The new thought movement, or positive thought movement, based on the law of attraction and theory that a positive mind produces positive experiences, has worked for many individuals. But equally, it has been ineffective for others. There is a reason for this that I will reveal to you, a flaw in the formula that will be rectified herein. I have never been surprised by anything that I have experienced, be it positive or negative. With the conditions of my life derived from my own psyche, I am left with no one to blame but myself. As a deist, a student of the Gnosis, I hold that God is a part of our reality. But as an anti-religionist, I accept that he is still unknown to us. The creature and the creator are one, and the interface between them is mental. We pray and never receive because the architecture of our fourth dimensional existence mandates that men do not receive what they want, but what they are. Edgar Cayce said that what a man thinks continually, he becomes. A lot about Cayce I dislike, but we agree on that one. Here are some quotes from men that I have a great affinity toward. Let a man radically alter his thoughts, and he will be astonished at the rapid transformation it will effect in the material conditions of his life. Men imagine that thought can be kept secret, but it cannot. It rapidly crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstance. That quote is by James Allen. I am more than I suppose myself to be, and perhaps all those perfections which I attribute to God are in some way, potentially, in me. That was by Rene Descartes. Do not expect God to do for us what he can only do through us. That was from Thomas Troward, 1909. Expectation is a force. Expect the best to happen. One who has learned to trust will not be surprised even when he finds things coming from the most unexpected sources. That was from Ernest Holmes, 1919. When one dissolves Christianity of its dressings, this teaching, this ideology of faith, it is clearly found that our physical reality is a mere reflection of inner ideas and convictions. Even Jesus in the gospel narratives never healed anyone. Heed what Jesus said when others were healed who had come to him. According to you, according to your faith, be it unto you. That's from Matthew 9:29. Thy faith had made thee whole. Matthew 9, verse 20 through 22. Receive thy sight. Thy faith hath saved thee. That's from Luke 18:42. Be not afraid, only believe. And that was from Mark 5, verse 36.